What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrew, for those of you who do not know me. In a minute here, I'm about to be joined by Trinity the Tuck from RuPaul's Drag Race. We're doing a get ready with me video while we talk about some stuff, which I will save for when that conversation actually happens. Feel free to hit that little time jump down below to jump straight there if you would like. But since we are doing a get ready with me, I have never actually done any drag makeup. She would like for me to have my foundation, my powder, and my eyebrows ready by the time this interview starts, just because sake of time. I don't really know quite yet what I'm doing with any of that, so I have a little bit of time here to play. I'm just about to wet my hair down, put on a wig cap, and I'm going to start gluing my eyebrows just because I know that takes a little bit of time. Since this is my first time doing drag, I just wanted to record this a little bit here at the start, but I'm obviously going to be fast forwarding through most of that process just because I didn't really want to start this video already in like half drag. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing, so we're all going to figure that out together. So again, if you'd like to jump down to that Trinity interview, go ahead. In the meantime, I've got my glue stick, my water, my wig cap, and my comb, and I'm just going to get started. Okay, I think I'm ready. Maybe I've done my eyebrows, my foundation, my highlight, my contour. I think that's it. I don't know if she wanted me to blend or not. I've not drawn on my eyebrows. I have like 2 minutes before she's gonna get here anyway. So let's just see what she has to say about what I've done so far. And then let's see what else happens once this is all over. All right. Hello, everybody. I am here with none other than Trinity the Tuck from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 9, All Stars 4, and All Stars 7. Hi, Trinity. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm so good. You look
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you. So Trinity here has joined me for a fun little get ready with me video. I've never done drag makeup in full to myself before, so she's got some exciting things happening. She's going to guide me through my first little experience here while we talk about what she's got going on.
I love it.
I've,
So
I've,
we
I've glued down my oatmeal eyebrows. I'm serving you dollar store realness today. Most of what I got was on sale at the dollar store, so that's where I'm at.
it's okay. Brands are great. And I there are several brands that I absolutely love, but you can actually find some great products at the dollar store. What a lot of people don't realize is a lot of makeup brands have their makeup made in the same warehouses. So it's like literally almost the same exact thing. Um, so yeah, I mean, so far what you have on right now looks like it's in the right places and
I tried.
your shade. So that's good.
I try. I'm living my workroom fantasy here right now in this little half drag, half contour thing when we get serious about everything. So
I
uh,
love it.
I think I'm gonna start out maybe blending in my contour and my highlight. Is that correct? Because I think you've already done that.
Yeah, so if you can't see me very well, I'm in my lighting. I've already put on my foundation. I did the highlight, did the highlight underneath my cheeks, the bridge of my nose, forehead, contour. These were all cream products.
Okay.
Then I blended those out. I set it with powder, and then I went in with my powder contour and powder blush. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
You have powdered yet, or you're just at the
I have
point?
I have powdered. Yeah, so I've powdered. I have this like translucent powder that I've been putting on kind of after every applique as things are drying. And then I have my contour and my highlight that I drew on. I just haven't blended them out yet, but I have the brushes for them, highlight and contour.
Okay, so for future reference,
Okay,
always all of your cream products first before you
first.
even powder.
Okay.
Because once you powder, it will be so hard for you to blend.
Okay.
Um, so that's your first lesson. But now that we're here and you're doing that, you have it set in the right spot, like the contour.
Hmm.
Now you just got to blend it out. So
Okay.
uh, I would suggest doing your dark contour first
Okay.
and blend out from there. And then if
Okay.
you need more light highlight, you can to balance it out.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna get started on that real quick, but I'm gonna ask you first question because I know that recently Trinity turned 21. I saw on your Instagram. So while this is my first time, my little inner drag queen, her name is Ms. Bacca. It's short for Mrs. Chewbacca because I'm a hairy queen. So we're gonna meet her for the first time together. But I would love to hear about your first time doing drag, dressing in drag, going out in public, like what that was like for you. I would love to hear about that while I buff this out over here on my face.
My first time was absolutely awful. Uh, my first time wasn't Halloween. Um, my first there's two firsts, I say. I in high school I did this, they called it a womanless beauty pageant because it was like all of the quote unquote guys at our school would do this beauty pageant in drag for charity. And we would have the girls in the school do our makeup, or whomever do our makeup. I had my cousin put me in drag, and obviously she used like, I don't know, Bare Minerals or something. Like it was something so basic, and I looked awful. And at the time, this was way more than 20 years ago, because this was in high school, so it was like 25, 24, 23 years ago, something like that. Wig stores weren't a thing in my town, so I had to get a Beatles wig from Party City.
Oh, not Party City.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was a Party City. But I mean, it wasn't serious, so I don't really claim that as my first actual time in drag. So my first actual time in drag where I did it kind of proper, I was dared to do it by this little bitty drag queen who was a cheerleader. And they had just started drag, and they're like, "You're so skinny, and you would be the perfect drag queen." Not that skinny makes you like a good drag queen, but that's how they like worded it. And so I was like, you know what? I'll let you do my makeup. I'll do it because you dared me to do it, but I didn't want to do it, and I did, and I lost because I did a talent competition, like a Thursday night talent competition where you win money. And I didn't win. And I'm a very competitive person, so I had to do it till I won. So I did it 2 more times until I finally won. And at that point I was hooked. And so that was my first experience. But the makeup was awful because they didn't really know what they were doing. I had oatmeal brow. I mean, they were using black as my contour. I mean, it was atrocious.
Oh no. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that your first time doing drag was not with a RuPaul All Stars winner and 3-time competitor on the show. And
No, I didn't meet my drag mother till maybe a year and a half of doing drag. So at that point, I kind of had an idea on how to do my makeup and stuff, even though I was still improving going forward. But no, like when I first started, it was like literally there was no YouTube, so you had to learn from
like scratch.
Yeah, you had to learn from either the other queens that were there, or figure it out yourself. And so it was a trial and error for a while for sure.
I mean, if you had never fallen like into this drag world, what do you think you would have done instead? Like, what were you doing at the time when all of this kind of fell into your lap?
I feel like drag kind of, and this is kind of cliche, but drag kind of did save me. It kind of gave me a purpose. It kind of pointed me in the direction of what I found that I was good at, because all through my adolescence and high school, I just didn't think I was good at anything. I had no idea really what I wanted to do. I had thought about maybe if I went to college, I'd be a zoologist, or I thought about maybe a graphic designer, but I was never passionate about any of that. And then when I started drag and I fell in love with it, I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. And so I just kept following it. I never went to college. I really did pursue my passion, which was art and drag. And luckily it panned out for me, but if not, I would definitely be a starving artist, because this is what I love to do, and this is probably still what I would have been doing had I not been as successful as I am, because I love to do it. And I think regardless of how much money you make, if you enjoy your job, that is the most important thing for me.
I definitely agree. I used to bartend, and that was not the smack for me. So I'm much
Um,
happier in the life that I lead
uh,
now.
thing. I did a lot, like, while I was getting my footing in drag, because I wasn't on a cast, I wasn't doing shows every single week. I was a server during my daytime, and doing customer service and doing food service is just
Hard.
a lot, because
Yeah.
people who aren't in the like customer service or food service industry are just awful to people who are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I might have blended this out a little bit. So if you want, if we can move on into the next little phase. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so what do we got next over here? I have all my brushes, all of my shadows, all of my contours, and all my things.
Okay. So you powdered that, what you just blended
It's
in?
no, okay, let me powder that actually then real quick.
Yeah. So
Right.
powder all of anything that's wet. Go ahead and
Okay.
powder.
All right.
Um, we'll move on to your powder contours and blush.
Alrighty. Well, while I do this, I would love, because we're about to talk about all your music and all the things that are coming up, but we met you in season 9 as Trinity Taylor. You came back in All Stars 4 as Trinity the Tuck. I would love to know a little bit about what that metamorphosis was like, or what the final decision kind of became for you to change your name and go by that.
So I my name has not really changed per se. Like, I still go by Trinity Taylor. A
Okay.
lot of places that I booked at before Drag Race, like my hometown bar, I was heavily into pageants. So when I go back to those pageants as a former, they
Mhm.
still in Trinity Taylor. Um, I haven't dropped Taylor. I just use a nickname, quote unquote, like Trinity the
Okay.
Tuck. Some people call me Trinity Taylor. Some people call me Trinity the Tuck. Some people call me Trinity the Tuck Taylor. I've been called all those, and let me tell you, I've been called worse. So I'm okay with all of that. What this name um, change is, it's branding. It's just
Mm.
branding, and RuPaul likes a queen who brands herself, and I feel like Trinity Taylor's kind of like it's not as an exciting name as Trinity the Tuck.
Yeah.
And because I was known for my tuck, and one of my friends actually named me Trinity the Tuck, um, it kind of just stuck when they were like, hey, this is what you should go by. And I was like, you know what? That's smart. And I took it and just went on to All Stars with it. And it's been a brand. And the thing is what's funny is there's a ton of drag queens who tuck just as well as me, but I coined it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if they're better at it than
Yeah.
me. I coined it. So that's what I'm known for. Um, but that's kind of why I did it. It's more for branding, but Trinity Taylor's still there. She hasn't went anywhere. She's just evolved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, regardless of your name, you've definitely done a great job. I mean, making a name for yourself, whether in or out of, I mean, RuPaul, because obviously you've done so many things outside of that as well. One of which is your upcoming EP, Sinematic. So let's switch gears here and talk about some of that, because I have had my little sneak peek of that. I have listened to it a multiple of times already. I have my favorites. I have all the things. So you just released Till Death Becomes Us, like officially to the world with that awesome ass music video. So I would love to hear a little bit about how that all came in, because anyone who has seen it, we know that it's based on the movie. I actually just recently watched the movie for the first time because I had never seen it, and I wanted to make sure I really understood the references, which I totally do. So I want to hear a little bit about how that all kind of came to be.
So the formulation of Cinematic, I And what's crazy is, so yesterday I uploaded the album art, album, which is me with a wig that has hair horns, and I'm tied to a capital T.
Okay.
And the is kind of like God, like Jesus on a cross. But I'm not on a cross. I'm not being crucified. I'm being tied up. So it's not it's an artistic interpretation of that. But when people saw that, they had visceral reactions. Like either they loved it and thought it was really creative, or they thought I was like blasphemous and making fun of their religion. And that's kind of the point. That was kind of the point. Drag is artistic. Art is subjective, and it's supposed to make you feel something regardless of what you feel. It's supposed to make you think, and you're gonna have a strong reaction to it, regardless if you like it or you don't like it, or you're not sure, or it makes you question things, it makes you cry, it makes you happy. All of these emotions drag does to people and art does to people, and that was the point of this album. I grew up Southern Baptist, and if you don't know a lot about Southern Baptist, and this is not true to everyone who is Southern Baptist. I'm not trying to pigeonhole everybody into this group. This is just my experience with the churches that I grew up being part of. I just felt like they were very, obviously super conservative, but also it was do what I say, but not what I do. And they would tell you one thing and do the exact same thing they tell you not to do. And I just didn't like the double standard. I didn't like the pressure. I didn't like that these churches that I was part of made you fear God, because what I was taught from my grandmother who raised me, God is love. But what I remember taking away from any experience at church, that was not the case. It was always condemnation. It was fear God, the pits of hell. If you do wrong, you'll burn in the eternal fire forever. And that scared me as a kid, especially as a queer kid. And I just did not feel like I belonged. I did not feel safe. And now, because of my experience with religion as a kid, and also how a lot of religious extremists use Christianity as a weapon. And again, this is not all Christian. This is the religious extremists. It made me not religious. I don't want to be part of that. I don't. If that is what God is, then I don't believe in that. I don't believe that the God that supposedly created all of us and is not a God of love. Like I can only imagine if I was going to worship somebody, it would have to be the Almighty that loves everyone equally. And that's just not the case with a lot of religious extremists. And so this album, I wanted to do something that I could put my feelings into as an artistic escape and show that side of what it is. It's not me proclaiming that I'm a devil worshiper or anything to do with demonic anything. It's not that at all. It's really a projection of how the churches I was a part of as a kid made me feel.
Yeah.
And so I know that sounds really deep for what it is.
No, it's all good.
So
we're in that part of in the workroom right now. We've got half the face on and we get really deep.
Yeah,
That's where we're
exactly.
at.
I'm about to get eliminated, and so we have to get my storyline out there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I wanted to do a 7 Deadly Sins theme. And so each song has a sin theme. Death Becomes Her Until Death Becomes Us is based off of Death Becomes Her, the movie, which those two characters were envious of each other. So that sin is envy. And I really love each song for the way you can listen to it and you won't even know necessarily that it's about a sin. But if you see it all together, you get the concept.
Yes, I very much do. And honestly, I was also raised around all of that religious stuff. So I definitely understand your perspective on that and where you've come from. And like, I definitely like relate to how you feel. And I mean, doing something like this project must have felt, you know, cathartic in some way to tap into some of that and really express yourself. So congrats.
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of queer people. You know,
Yeah.
I think we're made to feel like God doesn't love us. And, you know, I know a lot of queer people who are religious, and, you know, I am all for anyone believing whatever they want to believe, as long as they're not hurting anyone. You know, I am all for being friends with Christians and Muslims and Jewish people and Hindus. Literally every religion I am all for. Just, you know, don't push your agenda on me, as they would say,
Yeah.
to us about them. But you know, just let me believe what I want to believe, which is nothing. I believe that we evolved from, you know, cells in the ocean, and it just over time became what we are. Maybe there's aliens. Who knows? I do believe one great thing about growing up religious that I do take with me to this day is not the teachings of the Bible per se, but having a moral compass. That is important. No matter what you believe in, I believe if you have a good moral compass and you do right by people and you are honest to people and you're good to people and you help thy neighbor and, you know, you leave people alone, that, you know, if something's not your business, you know, stay in your lane unless you need to help them. I just think the world would be much better if we led with a moral compass rather than a condemnation punishment to those who are not like us. You know what I mean? I just wish we were more like that.
Yeah.
Kindness and love really should be leading us, not hate and, you know, the wrath of whatever the God is.
Yeah, I totally agree. So moving on from that, what do we got next here on our faces going on before we continue on?
Contour.
I do.
Okay, so
I don't have a powder contour. I've only got this like draw on like lipstick type contour.
Okay, so that you already did, and I wouldn't put on more of it. What eyeshadows do you have? Do you have like
I have two different. I have got these eyeshadows and then these eyeshadows because these green ones are more of what you use.
Is there like a taupe-ish color in there?
I think so. Yeah, like a bluer.
No, like it's almost brown or a gray.
Oh yeah. This one right here. There's a brown.
Yes, and these are not creams, right? They're
no.
Okay, perfect. So take one of your brushes. I use like a fluffy brush, and don't judge me by my brushes. These are old, but I use a brush.
Okay.
And you're gonna take your contour. See, I use, and this is old.
Okay.
I use it's like a brownish taupey color.
Okay.
And you're gonna take some on there. So dip it in that eyeshadow. And then always start at the back of your cheek, because if you put too much, you can blend out going forward. So tap right at the top of your ear here, going in the direction of that, but not too much. Start right there and just bring it down a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much. That might be too much.
Might be a little too much. I tried.
But no, don't dip anymore.
I'm not dipping. I was tapping this to try to get some more off.
Use whatever side.
Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Woo! This is all nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's fine. This is your first. Whatever happens is gonna happen.
I know. She's gonna be beautiful one way or the other. Um,
Yes.
so I
Beautiful.
really did love your video for Till Death Becomes Us. It was really, really well done. I know we had talked about it was like really one of the higher productions that you've done. I actually recognized Mr. Bradford from that video because he's come to one of my yoga classes here down in San Diego because I also teach yoga. So it was kind of cool to see him. But I'm wondering about how, I mean, how you landed on Jujubee, how you cast for all of that. I know we had Kylie Sonique in there as well with Peppermint. So what was the process kind of like getting all of that together?
You know, I'm so fortunate. This project was, even though it was like extremely expensive, I got everything that I wanted from it. The casting, every single person that I asked to be part of this, they agreed. Um, the from Jujubee, who is the feature on the track. Um, and then I got Brad, who's beautiful. He looks just like a hot Bruce Willis. So Peppermint's part in it is kind of like the idea was, you remember in Mean Girls where they like did the three-way call?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's kind of the concept of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not too exact, but it was our idea to have like this friend who was both of our friend, but she kind of like was in the middle of it all. And I was like, Peppermint's the perfect person for this because she's everybody's friend. Like literally in life, she's everybody's friend. And she agreed to do it. I loved that she was part of that. Jujubee, I have done projects with her in the past, but never anything with music. And I know that she can
Mhm.
sing, have music before, and it was great. And she was the perfect person for this because she's camp and gorgeous, and she sounds great. And then the Isabella Rossellini character, we needed somebody that had body, that was sexy, and who else is that other than Kylie Sonique
Kylie
Love?
Sonique Love. Body
She
Adi.
is an epitome of that. Like she's what I wish. She's what I think I look like when I'm in. Okay, she's like the filtered version of me. Okay, when I go in there, I'm like cinching the waist and I'm making the hips bigger and I'm pinching the nose and I'm airbrushing my skin. That's what she looks like every day. Okay, so we got her. She said yes. Matt Palmer, who is the Tom, Dick, Harry character, the
Right.
henchman, which is Isabella's partner, looks exactly like the guys from the movie. Sherry Vine did a little cameo in there really quick. I just got everybody that I wanted, and it was just fabulous. I was just so fortunate, and it's great to celebrate with friends and have fun with friends, and all of these people that were part of this, I really do consider friends.
I love that. And I mean, everyone did a great job. I've watched it a few times. So, I mean, out of that 100,000 views you've got, you probably got, quite a number over here from me because it's been on repeat the last few days.
Oh, you.
All right, babe, what do we got next going on from here
Okay,
after
pretty good. That's pretty good blending.
I
Take that
tried?
same brush. Don't add
Eyebrow.
any more yet. Take that same brush and do along your hairline from here to here, like right on
Okay.
the edge where your wig cap is, and just do it along there. If you end up needing more, add, but just a little bit. Don't put
Tiny
too much
bit.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have my theories on which sin is which off of this little EP because I have listened to it. You've already now confirmed that Till Death Becomes Us is envy, which I was right about, so that makes me happy. But I kind of, while I was listening to it and putting this together, I sort of opened the reading room a little bit to assign for each of us who would be which sin based on your songs. And I'm
Oh,
wondering if you'd be
okay.
interested in hearing what I've come up with to see if I'm at least even right about what sin is what.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, so Miss Jesus Christ is pride. And that is all you, my love, because you're a narcissistic bitch and I love you so much and I wouldn't have it any other way. Um,
Yeah.
Money mad is greed, and I will take that one because, as I told you, I'm serving you dollar store realness today, and a bitch over here needs some money, some green, throw it my way. I will take it all. Give it up is lust, and I feel
Yeah.
we can share that one because I'm sure we're both equally thirsty hoes. Um, Till Death Becomes Us is envy, as you said. I'm a jealous bitch, so I'm gonna take that one over here for myself.
Okay.
Let them eat cake is gluttony. That is all
Yep.
you because you got that body oddy, you got that cake, you got that realness, you've got everything that we need and more. Detonate is anger. And in a real talk, that is me. That is what I struggle with the most in my life. I write about it in my books. It is like a topic that I really focus in on and I really like truly connect to detonate. And then Sleeping Beauty would then be sloth. I'm a lazy bitch. I'm gonna take that one, and I'm also gonna take that because if I gave it to you, we'd be equal. And like I said, I'm a greedy bitch, so I need to make sure I have some more at the end of this here.
I love it. You got all of them right.
Did I get them all right? I love that. Okay, that's the most important part.
You're correct. Yeah. Yes. I some of them are more obvious than others, and we wanted to have fun. Drew, who is the producer of this album, he actually produced my Trinity Ruins Christmas musical album over the
Love
holiday.
that. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
And he did a great job with that, but he's such a pop princess. Like he and he knows how to basically vocal train you, like to help you get the best vocals for you. Because if you notice in my other albums, I do mostly like drag rap.
Yeah.
And this I'm actually singing.
I was gonna say there was a vocal like upgrade in this.
That was all thanks to Drew. Drew really pushed me to actually sing because that's something I'm very self-conscious about because I know that I'm not a vocalist. I love to do music, but I know I'm not a vocalist. But he really did push me to get there. And I'm talking about some of these are really high vocals. All of the background vocals that you hear, all the high pitched everything, even in Till Death Becomes Us, that's all me. All of those are me. And thank you to him for really pushing me. And obviously, there's auto tune, but he really did get me there, and he was really happy with the final product before he started editing it, and it all sounds really good. I'm very proud of it.
I'm you should be. Yeah, it's definitely well done. All right,
Next,
what do we
another question. Let's do two things. We're gonna do blush and do brows.
Blush and brows.
Yes. So take your blush.
My blush.
I tend to go with like an orange blush a lot.
Okay.
But you can go pink. You can go more red tone. You can apricot. Whatever.
I got these ones.
Okay.
Here.
So use the pinker one at the bottom.
This one.
Yeah.
Cool. And that was the one I used earlier too, so I'm glad that I made the correct choice.
For those who want inexpensive but very pigmented palettes, this is by Kimchi.
Like the kimchi?
The Kimchi. And it has a bunch of colors in it. I mainly use this as blush, but I also love it as the eyeshadow. This is super pigmented. Okay. And she has an orange, yellow palette and a green palette. And then she has a ton of other stuff too online. And then I think you can find some of her products in CVS's in different places.
I love that.
But this is only like, yeah, it's cheap. It's like less than $15, I think.
I love that. And I love that for her because I love kimchi. She's great.
And for drag makeup, like it's great quality. It's not like she just bought something from somewhere else and slapped her name on it. Like these are actually really good pigmented eyeshadows.
I love that. And the blush is just for the cheeks right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just doing it on the apples and going upwards. And then I do a little bit on the tip of my nose, not too much, but a tip, because I like it to have some color.
Okay. Well, back to your album real quick. What is your favorite new track / favorite sin that is off of this album? Because I also have an answer for that for myself, but I would love to hear which one's your favorite.
So I have two that
Okay.
are mine that are tied, and the sounds are very different. My absolute favorite song from the album is Miss Jesus Christ. That
Okay.
is the next single that's released with the album on June 1st.
Okay.
And it has a really cool music video that's a complete departure from Till Death Becomes Us. I like it because it's the songs of, the sin is vanity, it's pride, it's all about being the perfect person and narcissism, and that's kind of what drag is. You're portraying this perfect character, and it's all about the look, it's all about vanity, and that's what this song is about. It's about pride. And then my second favorite song off of the album is Give It Up. I like it because it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more loose. The lyrics are hot. It also leans heavily into like hookup culture, and you're not there for love, you're there to, get it on. I also think it's like the song kind of sounds like something Jason Derulo would sing. It has like a disco-y-ish kind of sound to it. So I really like that one. But my favorite song from all of this stuff is not even going to be on this album. It's going to be on the deluxe album. It's a whole new song called 666 Sex. It is a group song where I'm going to be debuting a new girl group.
Okay.
A new drag girl group. And
I love this.
We'll save that for
and we'll save, okay, we will save that.
I'm gonna tell you is a bop. It is fierce.
I love that so much. And I also love that the two songs that you chose as your favorite are the only two songs that I gave you when I went through my rundown. So I mean, I guess I was really accurate when I was choosing these.
Accurate, but I really do. I'm really in love with all of the songs.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, and I mean, as you should be, because like truthfully, I really have listened to it a number of times, and I'm really into it, and I'm excited to see like what's gonna happen once it actually drops.
Yeah. So now let's move on to brows.
Okay.
So brows, you're gonna take an angle brush or just a smaller brush, like.
I do have a brow brush.
You do perfect. It's angle on the side, right?
And then I've got this. Yeah, so I've got this was what I did with the glue, and then this is what I'll do to draw.
Perfect. So you take your brush, you're gonna go in with a brown or taupe or black or whatever the color is closest to if you were gonna wear a wig. What would that be? I'm using a brown.
Okay.
I tend to use a brown no matter what.
Okay.
Doing blonde or even if I'm doing black, just because I like the color brown for my brows.
Okay.
And I tend to, even though I cover my brows, I still start about where my natural brow would start.
Okay.
I go high, like I follow basically the top of where my brow grows.
Okay.
And I go out to about right past the pupil, and then that's where you're gonna arch it.
Okay. I'm probably gonna serve you some ex-boyfriends today. I'm gonna try to get them to at least be cousins, but
that's okay. Let's just be cousins today.
So you mentioned that the next Miss Jesus Christ will be coming out on June 1st. Is that when you're dropping the rest of the EP as well, or?
Yes, so you'll get the entire album on June 1st. Perfect timing for Pride. And so Miss Jesus Christ, the song is Pride, but a different kind of pride. It's not
totally.
But the song that's the sin of pride, but the music video is about even though it says Miss Jesus Christ, it's not religious at all, like the music video. It's based around a mad scientist who is in the pursuit of the perfect human. So she clones herself, and there's like this whole warehouse of clones of her that they all have something wrong with them, so she just discards them in the warehouse. And then in the middle of this next clone, the clone wakes up and like bashes her over the head and then escapes into this warehouse where all of these other clones are. And so the story is the clone is trying to escape. And that's all I'm going to tell too much. I don't want to tell too much about the music video, but it's very visual. It's beautiful. It's kind of scary. And the ending's kind of unexpected for sure.
I love that. Did you choose June 1st just because it is Pride Month? And I'm only really asking that because June 1st is actually my birthday. So I really think that you've chosen like the best possible date to drop all of this.
Fierce, happy birthday!
Thanks. I know my Gemini over here, my crazy ass.
Yeah, so we wanted to, like, I love doing projects for the gays. And you know, Pride Month is super busy for all of us, like drag queens. So it's the perfect time to drop that because I can tour it immediately. And that's kind of why we chose June 1st. So we could get so I could perform it everywhere. I'm already performing Til Death Becomes Us. I have a solo version that I travel with, and that will also be on the deluxe version of the album. Is just my solo version. But I'm touring with that, and I'm also already, if you find me in a show before June 1st, you probably will hear Miss Jesus Christ, because I'm touring both of those right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you coming? Are you in California or are you in Vegas or where are you living right now?
I'm based in Orlando. I bought a
Oh,
house.
you're in Florida. Okay.
Yeah, I bought a house here about 5 or 6 years ago, and I hardly work in Orlando, and I kind of love it that way because I'm constantly traveling. I live really close to the airport, but I will actually be. I don't know when this will air, but I'll actually be in LA doing some work, starting on the 10th through the 16th of this month.
That's awesome. Well, maybe I will catch you in LA because I'm down here in San Diego, so LA is not too far.
I think is that where Chad Michael's show is at?
In San Diego? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He performs here all the time.
I'll be there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for one of her shows, one of her reviews.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into all of that and maybe we can like meet face to face. That would be amazing.
I'm doing, and I don't know if I'm not even allowed to say this yet, but I'm doing a release party at I don't want to say which club yet till it's 100% confirmed, but at a club in WeHo.
Okay.
For an album release, and we're gonna have a couple of Rue girls there. You're gonna get to see all the visuals. It'll be like I'm gonna perform a lot of the songs, maybe with dancers. It should be really fun.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look into that as well, but please feel free to send along any information that you would like, and then I would love to make that happen and see you face to face. I'm going to pivot a little bit away from your music and talk about your hit movie Slay. Because, well, first of all, that's actually kind of what landed us here in the first place, because I wrote that little thing about Pride and then we found each other and, you know, now we're here. But I would love to hear a little bit about how that motion picture came together, how you were approached for it, like how it all happened, because I really did enjoy it. It was super, super fun and super campy. And like, that was like what I would picture as your dream role, with like how much you just got to scream and have a great time and fuck around. So I would love to talk about that a little bit.
Well, when I was approached to do Slay, it was like, what? Like, you want me to be in a horror movie as a drag queen? Yes. Like, this is I absolutely love, if all of my friends know, I love horror. I love horror movies. This movie is like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert mixed with From Dusk Till Dawn, two of my favorite movies. And I got to play the lead, and I don't know that I would have necessarily picked my name as Mama Souffle. I probably something a little bit more sexy and youthful, but that's the beauty of acting, girl. You get a character, you got to lean into it. So I got to play this mother character who was like a badass, and like all the stunts, we actually had to go through stunt training for this. And all of my stunts I did myself. I did not have a stunt double.
Wow.
And it was just such a fun project. Jim, who is the writer and director of the movie, is this beautiful and extremely humble and sweet trans non-binary person who is from Canada, and they were a dream to work with. Like, they knew exactly what they wanted from each of us. They were able to guide us. I mean, like, they were the epitome of what a director should be, and made you feel comfortable. And if you weren't comfortable, they would get you there. And I loved working with Jim. And Jim is in talks with possibly doing part 2.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, and I called it a Slayquel, so I didn't know if that was gonna be too cheesy or not. But I was gonna ask if there was gonna be a Slayquel, and also, if you need a 9-foot tall, hairy, brand new drag queen for that, let me know.
I love it. I don't cast, but I can definitely pass along you to the casting. But I would love there to be a sequel, because one, it was such a fun project, but two, they film in South Africa, which is
wow.
Cape Town is my favorite city on earth. And it was just such a good time. Everybody was super sweet. It never got boring. I loved going to work every single day, even when we had to be in drag at 6 a.m.
That is early.
Yeah. Oh, the days were long, but you loved every minute of it, because it was just such a fantasy and just so cool. It was just so cool to be part of. So I would love to do that more. I would love to do more acting. As a drag queen, it's kind of hard to break into, but I loved it. I would totally do it again, over and over and over.
Yeah. And I am sure that will open up some other roles for you, because you kind of found your comedy queen side on season 9 of RuPaul. Is that correct? Was that sort of the metamorphosis of how that happened?
Yeah, I think season 9 was what affirmed my comedy. I'm always humorous with my friends and stuff, but like, before Drag Race, I took drag way too serious, because I was a pageant queen, and pageant queens, that's what they do. Everything is detailed. Everything is, cross all your T's, dot all your I's. Everything's got to be perfect. Everything is in a box. Like, it's so structured and meticulous. And that's a great form of drag. It's very disciplined. But Drag Race is not that. And threw me through a loop as soon as I was there. And with Drag Race, either you get thrown into the deep end and you swim, or you are going to drown. And so immediately, as soon as I got there, because I thought when I got there, I was like, oh, I've got this all planned out. I know exactly how this is gonna go. I'm gonna slay everything. Da 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 da. And then when you get there, that's all out the window, because it's not scripted. It's not planned out, and anything can happen. And anything did happen. And so when I would get these acting roles, it was like, okay, do I want to play this as like a serious role, or do I want to be stupid and just make Rue laugh? And that's what I had to end up doing is just letting it all go out the window, not worried if I'm pretty or not, and just act a fool. And that's, RuPaul wants a clown. That's what she wants.
So it seems she does like to laugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've given you these cousins. They're not as bad as I thought they were going to be, but
yeah, that's not for your first drag brow. That is not bad. And
thank you.
I was like, what? Okay.
I that's what my boyfriend said too when he came home and I had this all glue. He's like, you've got some oatmeal brow, but for your first time, we're not mad.
Not bad. Okay, so the next thing is you're gonna do your crease color.
Okay.
I have two palettes that I go to.
Okay.
Both are from Anastasia. This is one of my favorite brands, Anastasia Beverly Hills. They have it for everyday makeup for a woman. It is great for a guy or non-binary that wears makeup every day. It's great, but for drag, it is fantastic. Like they have pigment, they have full coverage, they have everything. So if you are looking for a one-stop shop for getting all of your drag makeup, I suggest Anastasia. But they have great eyeshadows. This is a great palette because it has a lot of different shades.
Cool. I have a similar, like I have
these
reds, and then I have these.
Good.
I've got these as my options.
And I also have this. This is my other favorite palette. This is Norvina's collection in Anastasia. So Norvina is Anastasia's daughter, and she over the creative of Anastasia now. And also another sweetheart. Love her to death. But this palette, you can see it's used, but look how beautiful this is.
That is gorgeous.
And they're all super pigmented too. And so I love Anastasia for their colors especially. So you're gonna pick a crease color. I tend to go with either an orange, a form of red like a burgundy or something, or a taupe.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you choose the color.
Sure. Should I use my detail brush or should I use my eye smudge brush?
Use whatever's fluffier at first.
Okay, got it.
And which color are you gonna go with?
I think I'm gonna choose this sparkly red.
Okay, so we'll go with a red. I have something kind of like it, but it's not sparkly, but that's fine. So take your fluffier brush and you're gonna do like a swiping motion. So like, I'm gonna pick this up so you can see. So you're gonna go and you're gonna go from the edge of your crease up to around where the brow is and down. Move this back so you can see.
You are so awesome for doing this. As a side note, like this is just so much fun to do.
Am I the drag mother? Is it?
I think so. I do think so. You will have become that by the end of this, especially. But yes, you are my drag mother, Miss Tuck. And wow. I would not change that. I'm not just saying this because we're here together. You are sincerely one of my favorites, and I am totally gagged about this. I've been like shitting bricks for a week now. Like, this is so fun.
There's no pressure. Like, this is the thing. There's no pressure to this, especially it being your first time. If you're serious about wanting to get better with drag, all it is just practice. And at the end of the day, this is just makeup. So if something up or you're not happy with it, you can always take it off and start over. And don't put so much pressure on yourself either to be perfect your first couple of tries, because you're still learning. And so practice makes perfect. Look at tutorials online at different techniques and find what works for you. And you don't have to be a carbon copy of anybody. You can make your own character. You can paint however you want. So for me, I tend to lay my eyeshadow first. Like if you see this, it's not blended at all yet. I just lay it first.
Okay.
And then once I get as much pigment as I want, I'll then go back and blend.
So on the topic of RuPaul, I would love to ask you a couple of questions about that, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, one really big question that I have every single time that I watch the show is how long does it actually take for Ru to make a decision after a lip sync?
So in my experience of doing it 3 times, it varies.
Okay.
If there is a clear winner, she's very quick. But sometimes it's not as clear of a clear-cut winner. And so RuPaul has been known to leave the judges table, which you don't see, to go confer with the producers or whomever, or to rewatch it back to make a decision. And the chosen winner could be for many different reasons. It could be because one person slightly did better than the other. Could be that one person did better actually lip syncing. It also could, and this is just me guesstimating. It also could be because of storyline. You know what I mean? Like whose storyline is over or whose storyline needs to continue. It is a reality show. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they're making good TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, it varies. It varies depending on if it's a clear-cut winner or not.
Well, that's fair. I also would love to know how all of you pack everything because y'all have some really elaborate stuff that you bring along with you to the show. I can't even fit like a sun hat into a suitcase. And you guys have these crazy wigs, these crazy costumes, these elaborate dresses and everything. So how do you pack? How do you fit all that in when you bring it along?
Well, I think my journey with costumes and packing for Drag Race has evolved. So my first season, when you first go, you are scared of everything. You don't want to make the producers mad or anything like that. And they tell you you only have X amount of suitcases at X amount of size at X amount of weight. You follow that because you don't want anybody mad. And so that's what I did for season 9. I also didn't have a lot of money. I only spent $2,000 total on what I took to the show. And a lot of it I made myself and pulled from my own closet. And you can tell my budget was small because it just wasn't up to par to what I brought on All Stars. Then, on All Stars 4, you want to bring bigger silhouettes and stuff. And so, I was like, I want to bring this, but I need to be able to bring a fragile item. And so then they would be like, okay, you can bring one fragile item, and they would tell everybody else you can bring one fragile item. And then for All Star 7, I had done it 2 times already. So I was like, look, they wanted us to have all of these things. They want us to be the most grand it's ever been. And they were only allowing us 6 suitcases. And I was like, girl, there's no way. There's no way my purple dress that I wore on the first episode that had the longest that's ever been on Drag Race, that wouldn't even fit. Luckily, the designer was in LA. That wouldn't even fit in any kind of container. We had to get a 20 by 20 tarp and fold it in there and transport it in a tarp because it would not fit in any kind of box or suitcase or anything. So I ended up, when they picked me up, they told us 6 suitcases. I had 12. And I said, look, I brought trains upon trains upon trains. I brought huge extravagant silhouettes. you want big, you want a show, here it is, take it or leave it. And they were kind of taken back at first, but girl, they brought me, and that's what happened.
I love that.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta just stand up for yourself. You know what? They want us to deliver big things, and you need to give us something, you know?
I do know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how I've quite done. I think I've overshadowed maybe a little bit.
No, it's not bad. I mean, you have a big eye space, so
I
you did.
do.
Yeah, for your first time, that's not bad. Um, you're gonna cover a lot of that up with eyelashes anyway. Do you have eyelashes?
I do. I do have
Okay.
some lashes here.
So a lot of that will be like camouflage with eyelashes.
Okay.
Your next thing is you're gonna want to do eyeliner. I don't
Eyeliner.
know
Okay.
if
I have these. This is the
is that
jumbo one.
oh, I love that. I love that one by NYX.
Yeah, and then I've got another Pearl World. This is like a double. This is like a white side and a black
I
side.
would use a bigger one.
Bigger one.
Another thing about that one is I've used it before. It's very creamy.
Okay.
And once you line it, if it looks messy, you can take a dense brush and kind of smudge it a little bit, and it'll look like a smoke.
Okay.
A smoky eye.
Okay.
I'm not using that. I'm using something that's like a marker almost.
Okay, yeah. I saw that in your list.
Yeah, it's also by NYX. But eyeliners are it's subjective to what you want. I've used that one before and I like it. I like the right now I'm in the mood for liner that's a marker. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna go from the inner eye waterline across your lash line to the end. Now, if it's not straight, like I said, take a dense brush and smudge it a little bit, and it'll.
And we start on the top lid before we do the bottom.
I do not do liner on the bottom.
Okay.
We'll use a shadow for that. So I just start on the inner corners, and then I work my way down across.
Ooh, that one takes some concentration there.
Yeah, it is a little because the more straight you go with the liner, and even with mascara, because you're so close to the eye, and the eye is a very sensitive part.
Yeah. So obviously we just talked a little bit about all three of the times that you were on the show with what you brought and how you brought it. Personally, I believe that you deserve the crown every single time that you are on the show, but I'll just take that opinion with me. I am wondering a little bit about though when you did win with Monet, were you two? Did you find out at the time of filming that that happened, or did you guys find out later on? And like, were you with her, or like, how did you two find out that both of you had won the crown?
So on YouTube, you can actually watch our live reaction
Oh
to the
yeah.
crown. We did not know there was going to be a double crown. We did not even know that was an option because we did not film that. So we were both under the impression that one or the other was going to win. And what's crazy is, so we were at we got our makeup done at World of Wonder headquarters. That's where they tape a lot of their shows. And there was a bar literally across the street from World of Wonder that we did the viewing at. And I had my boyfriend at the time with me, like dressing me. And Patty, who is Monet's assistant, who also was her makeover in All Stars 4, was there with her. And both of them had found out on social media because they took our phone, but they didn't take their phone. They found out on social media before we even did the crowning that it was a tie. But because there was staff around us, they couldn't tell us. And I was wondering why my boyfriend at the time, why he was so nervous. and it was because of that. But neither one of us knew that there was going to be a tie. And the way that in this club, the screen was so up high, I was like killing my neck to look. And there wasn't loudspeakers. It was not loudspeakers. I could barely hear. I'm hard of hearing anyway because I listen to music very, very loud. And when they announced the winner, I couldn't understand because everybody in the club was cheering and I couldn't hear. I was confused. I didn't know what she said. I was like, what is happening? It was showing both of us. And so I just was confused. And then RuPaul said, you both get $100,000. And then I was like, what did she say? What did she say? And Monet was like, we both won. And then I was like, oh, yay. At first, me and Monet have both talked about this. That night, we were both very bitter. We were both very bitter because we're both very competitive and we didn't think a tie was a win. We were like, they should have just picked one of us. You know, I would have been happy she won. She would have been happy I won. But we were just really bitter that we had to tie. And so that went on with us for a couple of months. And it wasn't so much I was mad at her, she was mad at me. We were just upset at the process. But then something happened, and I don't know the exact thing for her, because we've never really talked about that. But through that year, it changed from me being upset at the fact that we tied to this being actually a very magical thing, because we didn't really cross paths too much that year. Like, she had her own reign, I had my own reign, we had our own crowns, we had our own scepters, we had our own money. And it was just, not only that, but then I started thinking about it more, and like, what better way to celebrate a win for queer people than to have two. You have a Black person and a white person equal on a stage that is international. And in that time, that's what we needed. We needed that. And if you think about it, I feel like I beat her mostly in the season. To me, this is my own opinion. I feel like I beat her in the season, but I think she beat me in that final lip sync. And I think they just could not make a decision because generally it's. Are you there? Okay,
yeah, I'm here.
Generally, it's about the lip sync, but like I think that they could not look past the fact that I slayed the season either. And so conjoint, it was a tie. It was. We both won the season for different reasons. And we were both deserving of it. And you know what? I absolutely love Monet. I think she is, and I'm not just saying that, like, Monet is such a good person.
She's fierce.
She's such first of all, she's so deserving of her crown. And just a great entertainer, a great person, a great entertainer. And I would consider her a friend now. Like, I'm coming to LA and we're going to dinner. Like, I try to see her as much as I can. We toured together since then. I just love her. I think she's great. And so now it's such a positive thing because there's no other tie. It's very unique. It's very special. And now we love it. Now we love it.
I love that. What do we got next here, my love?
Okay, so next we do our mascara.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Let's do our liner first, because I do my mascara first and then my liner, but it'll be easier for you to do your liner. So take some sort of brush that's smaller or your angled brush.
Okay.
And I tend to do a color underneath my eye. I don't do black or brown. I'll do a color. So take whatever color you want and start on the outside, like closest to your lash line. And I'll show you. It's like that.
Okay, cool.
And you're not going to go all the way across. You're going to go about halfway. And you're going to taper inward towards where the inside closest to your nose, but don't go all the way because that just closes off your eye.
So when you are all getting ready in the workroom, like how long on average does that take? Like when you're on that show, like what's your call time? How long are you on set? Like what is an experience in a day-to-day kind of like on that show? Because I
So
know it's a race.
yeah, so they pick you up really early in the morning. Like I would say like 6:45, 7 in the morning. You're supposed to be in your out of drag look for the day. Walk into the workroom with your makeup and everything ready at that
Uh-huh.
time. Then you get to set. You can't go on set until a certain time when all the cameras are ready. But there's like a secondary holding space for y'all to hang out with. They'll get you breakfast, you'll have coffee, Red Bull, whatever it is that you want. Then you go into the workroom, you'll do your mini challenges and stuff. But when you're actually getting in drag, you have about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get fully in your look. And that's a
Amount of
normal time.
time.
Yeah, that's a normal amount of time.
And then where do you guys stay? Like, are you at a hotel or like?
Yeah. Yep. We're at a hotel. It's generally not in the same area that we film. They switch up the hotels every year, so who knows where
Okay.
we're staying now, but like it's usually about a 30-minute drive one way.
I mean, and do you all like interact with each other outside of filming? Is it easy to talk to each other? And I mean,
Not talk to each other. Everything is very monitored.
okay.
Uh, you so what they do is everybody has their own room. They will have PAs in the hallways 24 hours whenever there are girls in their rooms.
Okay.
To monitor to make sure you don't leave, to make sure you don't have guests, make sure you don't sneak out or sneak anything in, and all that jazz. So, but what they end up doing is they'll end up at night after you get back to the hotel and everybody gets, because they'll order everybody food from like restaurants, like good food, and they'll allow you to eat in the hallway, like sitting in the hallway and chat with each other. You just can't talk about story, nothing about what's on set. And then at that time, like especially for All Stars, we're all business people. We all have stuff, emails we have to do, podcasts, stuff we have to answer. And they'll let you do that then in front of them.
Okay. Because they have like your phone usually, right? Like you don't usually have
They
like
all phones. You're not allowed to have a phone. They'll have that all locked away, but they'll let you get into it at the end of the day. Or if there's an emergency or something like that, you have to get stuff. They don't restrict you from getting your business done that you need to get done. It's just supervised because they want to make sure you're not going to tell anyone.
yeah, like what's going on and yeah, none of the spoilers or anything like that.
Yeah.
How does this look?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think your inner is a little blunt, but girl, again, this is your first time, so the placement is in the right spot. The biggest thing is go in the future practice. That's it.
Yeah. And this is fun. Like I'm definitely having a really good time with this. So I feel like that's also a really important thing.
Is having a good time because that's
Yeah.
really what drag is. The next thing is we're gonna do mascara. You
Right.
can put the mascara you want. I tend to like a very, very black, 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 black mascara, and they have different gradients of black.
Okay.
And then I like a big like a big thick bristle. Like it can't be like a tiny one. I also don't like the plastic combs. I like one that has like the old school mascara wands, but just really fluffy.
Okay.
And then you're gonna do your top mascara first on both eyes. You can't get it off?
It looks like this. It's like
Uh,
melted in here.
is it really
Huh?
clumpy?
Yeah, it's like,
Okay, so get you a paper towel
okay,
and just wipe off all of that.
all that extra.
Yeah.
Because I have not opened this yet. And it's like a really like tarry,
Oh,
like
really?
gluey like substance.
I've never seen that. I don't know that I trust that for your eyeball.
Okay. So maybe I
So,
should skip the mascara.
so skip mascara, and some
Okay.
drag queens mascara. Some drag queens just put their lash on. I would not put that on your eye.
Yeah,
Because
it's like the whole thing is like, I mean, I guess that is what happens when you literally buy it 20% off at the dollar store.
been expired or
Yeah.
air got in there. I just wouldn't trust it. So
Okay.
don't mascara,
All right.
but
We'll skip the mascara for this time then.
yeah. And so now you're gonna do your lips. Let's do your lips
Okay.
because in this process you do your mascara, let that set, and then
Okay.
you'll do your. So
Now
what
with
color?
lips, do we do liner first or do we do okay.
I tend to do liner first.
Okay.
So take your liner and I do my bottom lip first. You want to overdraw just slightly
Okay.
on the outside of your natural lip line. Don't go crazy. Unless that's the look you're going for.
I don't think that's quite. So I'll see what happens. So out of all of the times that you have been on the RuPaul show, obviously every time is different, but I'm wondering if you either have a favorite experience or if you could rank them, how you would.
My experience. Okay, so I think even though I won on All Stars 4, I think All Stars 7 was my favorite. All Stars 4 was my second favorite, and season 9 was my third favorite. My
Okay.
favorite memory from each, or my favorite experience from each, I would say All Stars 7 would be, what would be my favorite? Oh, I think my favorite from All Star 7 was the sewing challenges because each time that I did that, the judges were gagging at like what I made. For All Stars 4, obviously when I won was my favorite. And then season 9, my favorite part of season 9 was doing the pilot challenge where I got to be Sister Mary Coons.
Oh my God. And you brought her back in your Christmas album.
Yeah, I try to invigorate each character that like resonated with people.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'll try to do that because people like you to harken back to those things that they know you from.
Yeah. And season 9 was also, I believe, it was the first season that was on VH1. Is that
Yep.
correct? So what was that like? Because I'm sure there was maybe a little bit of added pressure because that was kind of a switch from logo.
Well, when we filmed it, we were under the impression it was going to be on logo.
Oh.
Didn't find out until it was airing, like when
That
they
it was
started
on VH1.
that it was going to be on VH1. We had no idea. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it the pressure wasn't really too much there for that. You know, we it was like any other season until it was airing and then until the finale. The finale was the first one of its kind.
Yeah.
So that was where the added pressure was because we didn't have anything to pull from as far as like what to expect.
Yeah. And that was an insane live finale. Like the first time. I mean, I have to be honest. I've only actually been watching RuPaul for about 3 years now. I've seen everything, but a few years ago, I had an assignment to interview Miss Alaska, and I was like,
Oh,
okay, well, I definitely can't be interviewing any Ru girl without knowing like what the fuck I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I started with her seasons and like as soon as I watched it, I was like, what have I been doing? Like, why have I not been watching this for years? And so now I'm just like so obsessed. I'm so obsessed, seeing everything. And yeah, so that season 9 finale was like so epic. And I really love that switch because I think it's one of the best ways to like really close it out nowadays. It's like so good.
Yeah, it's so good, so good. Okay, so now you're gonna do your
My
lipstick,
lips.
lip gloss, your lip color.
Cool.
I one thing that I love, and I got in each season that I did Drag Race, because Anastasia has been the makeup sponsor each year that I was
Mhm.
there. Their lips, their lip colors are so fantastic, and they're long wear. They have every freaking kind of color and finish you would ever want. I'm using like a neutral-ish color today, but they have everything. I love the way it goes on and the way that it wears, and the color of how bright or how pigmented each color is. This is like a neutral color. I either go a bright color red or a neutral color with my lips for some
Okay.
reason.
I chose this current red that I have right now based on your look from Till Death Becomes Us. That red. That was
It's a fierce red. That's
it
a
is
fierce.
a it is a very fierce red. And the I don't have the box anymore, but the lips on the box straight up look like your lips. And I was like, okay, well then I have to get this because like this is literally Trinity's lips
I
here
love.
on this. Um, so you were talking about the sewing challenges and I guess being your favorite. Do you have any other type of favorite challenges? Or I'm also really curious about Snatch Game, how that goes, how you chose all of your characters for that. So I would love to talk about that for just a second as well.
Sure. So my other favorite challenges would be like the acting challenges, not the improv, like the actual scripted acting challenges, because if you get a funny character or a fun character, you can literally make it your own. And I've had so much fun with a lot of the acting challenges, from Sister Mary Kuntz to the mom in 90210, to um, Samantha in the uh, Sex and the Kitty Girl um, acting challenge we had to do. There's just so many good ones. Oh, even in All Star 7, Satan School for Girls, where
So funny.
I played the stupid, like almost like Karen from Mean Girls character. Like, she's really dumb. I loved it. It was so fun to play. As far as Snatch Game goes, I've won it twice, and my first time ever doing it, I was safe. I was a high safe. Um, as much as I'm good at it, it is nerve wracking. It to me. It's not fun, because it's the most iconic challenge, and if you do not do good, people will talk about you constantly. And luckily, I did do good in all three, and I won 2 out of 3. But the reason why I chose the different characters, so I wanted to do Amanda. First of all, I'm obsessed with Amanda Lepore. I think she is a goddess. I love how she's so glamorous and over the top and flashy, and her body. And I mean, before I even got on Drag Race, when I used to do pageants, I used to do her song, "My Hair Looks Fierce," for talent. And so I just loved her. And I love that she talks like this, and everything is slowed down, and it's very bedroom talking, and she doesn't move her face because she can't. Um, it's a character in itself.
Yeah.
And um, so she's the perfect character to play for Snatch Game, something like that. When I did All Stars 4, so for season 9, I wanted to do Caitlyn Jenner, and they told me no. And then so when All Stars 4 came around, I wanted to do Caitlyn Jenner again, and they told me no. They were like, it's too controversial, da 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 da. So then I chose a different character. I was gonna do Jan Crouch. And then when I right before we left to go film, they called me back and they were like, look, somebody else wants to do Caitlyn Jenner, so we're going to allow you to bring that character, and you and that other person can duke it out to figure out who gets to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, so now that it's a storyline, you're going to let me do it. Anyway, so that ended up being Gia. And that whole tiff between me and Gia was planned by Gia. Gia told me as soon as, like, when we got there and she found out what character I was doing, she's like, girl, you can do it, but we need to make good TV. So, you know, just play it up. And so I went along with her, and she did that whole, what you want to do isn't necessarily what you're going to do. And all of that was all planned by her just for good TV. And then, you know, for Snatch Game, for Caitlyn, first of all, she's a horrible human being and a horrible representation of trans people in media. And she's super privileged, and I can't say anything nice about her. I just want to get those facts out there. Just because I did her for Snatch Game does not mean I like her. And in fact, that's why you don't see me on Twitter anymore, because I got banned for suggesting that she throw herself in front of a bus. They said that I was threatening violence, and I was like, no, I didn't say I was going to push her. That was, you know, I was suggesting she do it. I didn't say I was going to do it. Yeah. But and I don't really mean that as a figure of speech. Obviously, I don't want her to off herself, but you know, she's a terrible person. Then on All-Star 7, we find out we have to do 2 Snatch Games. And I ended up going with Leslie Jordan because, to me, Leslie's character is like a really old version of me. Like, he's just really old. Like, when I get 70 years old, I'm going to be just like that. Just taller, probably. And maybe I'll have tits by then. Who knows? And then the devil, you know, I chose that character because, one, we were allowed to do historical stuff or imagination stuff that's not copywritten. That was the year that they started letting us do stuff like that. But the previous year, there was this Reddit drama that came about that people were blaming me for something that I didn't do. And I was like, I've got to reclaim this, because if you're going to call me that, then I need to play that. So I ended up playing a devil character, and kind of, you know, I kind of made it, you gotta, when somebody does something to you, it's kind of like when Alaska won, they dubbed her the Snake Queen because they said she was so shady, and she took that and she made her persona for that next couple of years all snakes. And you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to reclaim things. And it worked, and I won. And I think the biggest thing with Snatch Game is not necessarily about if you look exactly like them or you sound just like them or say something that's just like them. It's just be funny. Find a character that you can actually make your own personality and your own comedy go through. That's it. That's all you have to do.
I love that.
So next up, there's 2 more things we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to do highlight, and then we're going to do our lashes. Okay. So next thing is look at your eyeshadows and find you. So I'm using this Anastasia highlight palette.
Okay.
And in this, there's 4 different highlights.
Okay.
Look in your blush thing. I think I saw there was a highlight like in your
this blush. One?
No. Your blush. You remember the 4
Oh, yeah. This one.
Yeah. So that gold is perfect.
Okay.
So
cool.
Your finger, I would just use your finger, and you're gonna rub on that, and then you're gonna do. I always call this a purse. Some people call it duck lips. And yeah, and then you're gonna rub this right on the apple and go up a little bit on your cheek. This is the highlight. What I like about a highlight is on stage, it just picks up the light. Also, it helps blend anything that's imperfect. And then I always do a little dot on the tip of my nose, just right on the tip right there. Yep. And that's all you have to do with highlight. And so before Drag Race, I never did highlight. It wasn't until I met the highlight queen, Pheromone,
Farrah.
that I started using highlight. And she's absolutely gorgeous. I don't like her, but but I think she's absolutely gorgeous, and she definitely knows makeup for sure. She's beautiful.
I do have a tiny bit of a shady question.
Sure.
You definitely don't have to answer this at all if it's too shady, but part of what inspired me to ask you for this interview in the first place was that I was watching season 9 with my partner. We had noticed that Rue did not do drag in the first episode. We noticed that in the second episode, it wasn't necessarily the best that she's ever looked. Mm-hmm. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, well, Raven started in episode 3 of season 9. And I was wondering if you had any like insight on what it was like when Raven took over, if that's something that you're allowed to talk about.
All of that was definitely behind
the scenes. Yeah.
We were not aware of anything that was happening because you don't really see Raven too much on the set.
Right.
And what we all did notice that RuPaul was not in drag the first episode, and we all did notice that RuPaul did not look like the normal RuPaul for the second episode. And then we all noticed a huge jump in her makeup for the third episode.
Her runway, she walked down licking her lips and smiling. It was like a total transformation.
So what happened, apparently, and this is all like speculation.
Sure.
For sure. Something happened with her original makeup artist, where either they got let go, or there was drama or something. I don't exactly know what that was. There was a reason why that person exited out of doing RuPaul's makeup. And then in the frantic aftermath of that, because RuPaul did not have a backup makeup artist, because that person did her makeup and her hair. While they're trying to find a new hair and makeup person, RuPaul had to style her own hair and do her own makeup the second episode. And then that's when they brought in Raven and Delta the third episode.
Okay.
And so I don't know much more than that. But you could definitely tell those 3 episodes something happened.
Yeah.
But they got it, they turned around, and now Raven's been with her since then.
Yeah, and Raven does a great job. She truly does do like an incredible job. So thank you for letting me ask that. That was like the only question I was actually like scared to ask.
You can ask me anything. I will always answer in a way that I can answer.
Yeah.
But you can ask me anything. I don't shy away from anything.
All right. Well, that is good to know, Miss Trinity. All right. So we've got this highlight. What do we got next step?
The last step is your lashes. So what do you have for your glue?
I have this. It's the adhesive that came with it.
Okay. So you can definitely use that. So you're going to use that. I use Weave Bond.
Okay.
It's basically like a latex, and what it does, it's super quick drying. So in the future, in the future, if you decide to do more drag, go to your local wig beauty supply store, and this is like 99 cents. Okay. And I generally just take off the lid and I dip the end of my brush, like not the brush part, but the tip of it in there. And this dries, like it adheres quickly. So what I would do for you is I would put a little bit along the
lash line.
Yeah, along the lash line. And these are old lashes, but we're using those today. You're gonna do that, and then once you do that, set it aside. Because I know lash glue takes a little bit to dry, longer than this does. So you're gonna want to let it sit for a second.
just a little along the edge. Then set it aside. This will probably be the funniest little part of this, is me trying to figure out how to put these on my actual eyes.
It's not too bad once you get used to it. It's definitely going to take you some time to get used to. So that's another thing I would just practice.
Yeah. All right.
Now, have you ever done a get ready with me before?
No.
So where is this going to live?
It will live on my YouTube channel.
Cute.
Um,
We love that. Your new little series of Get Ready With Me with different drag queens would be fierce.
I would love that. So I'm drinking a little bit of tequila right now. So I have the idea for the title segment is drinking the tea, Kiki with so-and-so.
Yeah, I love that.
So that is currently what's going on. But I mean, I don't know if there's any other queen out there that is as awesome as you. That would agree.
But we can try.
We sure can. I mean, because genuinely, like, you are all, like, you included, but like, all of you are so talented. Like, you have so much talent. It's insane. Like, the things that all of you do, like, what you all stand for, what you represent, like, all of it is insane. And it's beautiful. And I've got eyelashes falling off over here.
This is the best part. You're definitely gonna learn what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, both of them fell off. Oh no.
But you get the point. You get the point of the
lash. I do.
So I would suggest this is called Super Hair Bond Glue, and it's just liquid latex basically, and it dries super quick. And you can see how quickly, like on my eyes right here, like they went on super quick.
So fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
And great. Do you have a wig?
I do. It's a terrible wig, but I do have a wig.
Put on the wig. Step out of the frame really quick.
Okay. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me see if yours is so much better than mine. Over here, I'm serving you the Kurt Cobain realness.
Oh, yes, bitch. You better have the only blonde Kurt Cobain.
Yes. And so, like I said earlier, so this is Miss Bacca. That is my little inner drag queen. She's named after Chewbacca because I'm Harry. So Mrs. Chewbacca is her full name, but then Ms. Bacca here for short.
Chewbacca the Tuck.
Chewbacca the Tuck, yes.
the hairy Tuck.
Yes, the hairy Tuck. I love it. I mean, obviously, you look freaking phenomenal, and I am definitely on my 99-cent drag over here, but I love it because this was incredible. But I do have one little question left for you, Miss Trinity, because as we know, Ru enjoys to ask finalists about what they would tell their younger selves. So since Trinity just turned 21, I was wondering if you had any information or anything that you would like to say to young Trinity about where you stand now, especially with this busted ass queen that you theoretically just put into drag for the first time.
You know, so that picture, I was on tour with Andy Bell from Erasure. And I don't know if you know who Erasure is. They were a huge band in the 80s. They sang Chains of Love. Look them up. They were huge in the 80s. So me and my drag daughter, Chantel Sparkles, that's how we met, is we were backup dancers for them. And that's where that image was from. We were his fembots. We were supposed to look like twins. And so what I would just tell myself, especially back then, is just to keep going, because this was before Drag Race and I was traveling the world then with him. And so I knew that was the direction that I needed to go in, but I would just tell myself just to keep going, because even better things are going to happen. And trust yourself, and have confidence in yourself. That's the biggest thing we can just hope for ourselves, period, is, you know, things do get better. And the sooner that you believe in yourself and the sooner you trust yourself, the sooner things will start happening for you. You have to manifest it, and it will happen.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Trinity, you are so amazing. I'm so happy that you did this here with me. And I would love to know if you just had any last minute thing you wanted to say, anything you wanted to plug, any final words before, I mean, this fun little experience is all over.
You know, there's no rules to drag. Drag is supposed to be fun. I would just encourage anybody that is starting drag for the first time or just dabbling in it for fun to have fun with it and experiment with it. There's no rules, there's no right or wrong. And, you know, everybody starts somewhere. So just keep practicing until you get your drag where you want it to be. And don't listen to the haters. You know, listen to yourself. It's your art. And as far as things that are coming up, obviously my album comes out on June 1st called Sinematic. And it's going to be such a fun album. Dance tracks for you to have fun for Pride, and you'll see me on tour. I just actually did finish filming a TV show in London this past week. It's going to be a show for in the States. I can't tell you too much, but look for me on another TV show that is not Drag Race related very soon.
All right. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Miss Trinity. I really do appreciate that you took the time to do this. This was a super fun interview. I'm really excited to share all of your projects with the world, and I'm happy that I finally got to meet little Miss Bacca in here.
Yes, Miss Bacca!
Dollar store realness, and yes, she's part of the Tuck family, sort of, I guess. Yeah. I haven't actually tucked, so I don't know if I could be part of Haus Tuck without the actual tuck, but I was...
for everybody.
I will still call you as my drag mother, because without you, this would not have happened.
I love it. Well, very nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I hope to see you / meet you in person sometime soon. And I hope are you about to go to a show right now?
No, this is just for you.
Oh my gosh.
Just for you.
Okay, specialty. All right. Will you look?
Take this off, and then I will go pack, because I leave early in the morning to go to a gig.
Okay. Well, best of luck on your gig, and I will send you all the links to all the things as soon as everything's ready.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, Trinity.
Bye-bye.